used to be a trad wife, and now I'm a single mom. It all started back when I was a teen mom. I was 19 years old when I got pregnant. I was not married. When our daughter was like a week old, we just eloped at the courthouse and made it signed, sealed, and delivered. We were married. I was married to a military man, and my job was to be a wife and a mom. I wasn't supposed to have any time or any thoughts about doing anything other than being a wife and a mom. I love my kids very dearly, and I do not regret my decisions to have them. I do regret my decision to pick the partner that I picked to be their dad and to be my ex-husband. I had very low self-worth and self-esteem and thought that I was only good at being a wife and a mom because that's what I was shown growing up. It wasn't until we were teenagers that my mom ever started going to college. When she got married, she didn't have a college degree. She was in the military, and she did her 4 years in the Air Force, and my dad was a career military man, and my mom just married him and became a trad wife. And don't get me wrong, trad wife life comes with perks. I think it's best when you pick the right partner. I've seen a video talking about stitch this and tell me why marriage is hard. Marriage is only hard when you pick the wrong partner. My ex-husband would make fun of my weight. He would make fun of the little gap I have in between my two front teeth right here. Basically anything he could find to make fun of, he would make fun of it. But he would try to play it off as if it was just him being sarcastic and that we should make fun of each other. And don't get me wrong, I know there's couples out there like that, and that is the way they show their love, and I am not passing any judgment on how anybody else lives their life. I just know for me, coming from a house where we never did that, it really sent me into, like, I would say emotional distress. I wanted to laugh all of the things off, but deep down inside, I knew all of the jokes were true, and that he was basically just making fun of me our entire marriage. Of course, at the time, I probably didn't realize all of that until I was out of the marriage. I love my kids very, very, very much, and I do not regret my decision to have them. I love them so much. But picking the wrong partner did a number to me, even post-divorce. I was tormented for years post-divorce. My ex was so controlling to the fact that he wanted to try to control my sex life after divorce, after many years of divorce. And he was already married and had a kid with his now wife, who was his wife back then also. Anyway, all of this to say is pick smart when you are picking the father of your children, the mother of your children, and you are picking a partner for life. Do not take that very lightly. That is one of the most important decisions you will make in your entire life. Next to what toppings you want for your Chipotle bowl. Also, it's very important to have the hard conversations in an early relationship and in an early marriage, that if your partner is doing something that makes you feel uncomfortable, that you bring it up and you have the guts to have the hard conversations. That is one thing I definitely messed up in my relationship, is that I let my husband at the time make all the decisions. I basically had no voice. I don't even know if I would have been able to speak up. Because after we were divorced, when the kids went to go live with him, because my kids went to go live with him and I paid him child support, I would say I had no say-so on how my kids were raised. I learned that very quickly, that my voice and my opinions on my girls did not matter, and that I should just fall in line with anything he says to do.
Guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. So today we are watching different creators share their experience of being a traditional wife or a trad wife. So guys, traditional wife is basically a mom or a wife that stays home and support their husband by cleaning, cooking, laundry, whatever her role may be or entails. So I have been a stay-at-home mom for the past 7 years, but my role looks very different. So I have two younger ones that I stay home with because daycare is so expensive. So I've chose to stay home. So it was my choice. As a family, we decided it was best for me to stay home because daycare was so expensive. So more than two-thirds of my income would have been going to just paying for daycare. So I decided to stay home, and guys, I work. I run a home daycare. I does YouTube. I also do Airbnb. I've done anything just to make sure my husband doesn't have to carry all the weight. And number one, just in case something happened to my husband. Number two, if my husband gets sick. And number three, just for my independence, I would definitely want to keep working. So I have done that for the past 7 years and made just as much or more than when I was working outside the home. So I take care of my home, but still take care of my children and other people's children, sometimes up to 6 children. So my role is, I don't know whether you'd say it's a traditional wife or, excuse me, stay-at-home mom, but I work and bring my income in so my husband doesn't have to do it all because it's a lot. It needs a two people's income these days to carry a full household. And not only that, I love having my independence. And on top of that, 10 years ago, my first husband passed suddenly. So I have first-hand experience how devastating it can be as a family to pick up the pieces after you lose an income or losing a partner, that support system. So I really never, ever want to let that go of working and making sure I'm contributing to my family financially. So guys, thank you for clicking on today's video. Leave me in my comment section. Let me know if are you a traditional housewife? What is your experience? And let me know. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.
I'm here to tell you why that whole trad wife trend is absolute bullcrap. I just got off the phone with a friend of mine who has been married for about 15 years now. Before she got married, she got a master's degree in education and a law degree. She met her husband in law school. He wanted a traditional wife. She did not take the bar, and instead they got married. He took the bar, he passed the bar, he became a lawyer, and she became a full-time housewife and later a mom. Times 5. They have 5 children. Okay, fast forward 15 years, where he has been cheating on her for years. She finally caught him red-handed. She has enough confidence and determination to say, I want a divorce, I'm done. He's walking away with a $300,000+ job that he got, by the way, from one of her mom friends in a mom group. Let's just put that aside. She has nothing. She has 2 advanced degrees, 0 experience. So are they even worthwhile? Are they even worth anything? She has nothing to show for it. And in the last 15 years, what has changed in law and in education? Probably quite a bit. So she is stuck at this crossroads of feeling like she has nothing. And before you say alimony, he is trying to screw her out of everything he possibly can. She cannot keep the house, even though she has primary custody of the children. She can't afford it. She has no job. Absolutely no job right now. And even if she did, there are 5 children. So between drop-offs and pickups at 4 different schools, she has about 3 hours in the daytime when she is not tending to children. So to any woman who is considering that the trad wife lifestyle might be it for you, I encourage you to think about this story. Remember it. And just remember that you as a woman need to have something for yourself. If anything, just for yourself, because you absolutely never know what can happen in life, whether it be divorce, whether it be cheating, whether it be the passing away of your spouse. You have to take care of yourself and put yourself first. You can still love and support your husband and be an incredible wife who takes care of your man, but take care of yourself first.
If you want a traditional wife, then be a traditional man. You cannot ask for stay-at-home wifey privileges if you don't have stay-at-home wifey money. You want me to clean the kitchen? I'm happy to clean the kitchen if I get to wake up at 10. I get to clean the kitchen, I get to go lounge by the pool, and then you come home at night. Like, sure, no problem. But if I'm waking up at the crack of dawn with you, we're both going to our 2 very demanding jobs, and then coming home, don't ask me for anything you're not willing to do.
There's a recent trend of videos circulating on here about trad wives and, you know, how you don't see women in their 40s and 50s glamorizing that life. And yeah, because it sucks. I was a trad wife, and I never expected that I would be one. I kind of ended up somewhat against my will. Around my 1-year anniversary, I was told, your job is stressing you out too much. You are taking it out on me. It's sabotaging the marriage, and you have to make a choice. I remember where I was sitting, what I was eating when that conversation went down, and the sinking feeling I had. And I didn't want to give up my very successful, high-earning career. But I thought, what kind of person would I be if I chose a job over family? So I chose family. And 10 years later, I realized that it completely destroyed my life. Always keep a job. Always have some sort of way to have an income stream. Get paid for what you're doing. Make sure there are protections. Make sure things get titled in your name. Don't believe the future faking. Don't get your foot out of your career. Take care of yourself. Yeah, it might be nice and fun to take care of your husband, and you can still do that, but always take care of yourself, because the tides turn real fucking fast, especially when they're holding all the cards and they want you to do things a certain way, and after years and years of doing it a certain way, you decide to stand up for yourself. They fall out of love with you real fucking fast. So take care of yourself, always.
If your husband leaves you, you're going to be poor. You'll live in your car and you'll have no money for anything. You're being sold a lie right now all over the internet with these traditional housewife bullshit things. Yes, it's fun to have a man pay for your entire life, but in exchange, you have to wash his dirty socks, make sourdough bread from scratch, and run after his crying children. And you might be saying, well, I really want to do that. I would love a man to do that. I like the traditional gender roles. Do you not realize what happens if you don't have a career and you don't have a bank account once that man leaves? You are going to be 40 years old with no job, no money, and no skills. And then you have to rely on this man who currently wants to leave you, divorce you, and take everything to feed you, to give you some money, some alimony, some child support. He won't. You'll fight for it until the end of your days in court. What's the solution then? Obviously, start your own little business on the side that makes money, or make him pay you and compensate you for all this unpaid labor you're currently doing. Remind him how much it would cost if he had to pay for a therapist, mother, maid, nymph, then a virgin, housekeeper, house cleaner, house cook, and butler. Think about it, girls. Don't be dumb.
A lot of these trad wives are in my comments talking about, my man loves me. He would never do that to me. Lucifer loved God. He still betrayed him. That's the thing. You can't be like, my man would never, my man would never, my man would never. Check the comments. These men be nevering like a motherfucker. I mean, honestly. And the institution of marriage, I am married. I've been married for 7 years to a wonderful, equal partner who is an amazing guy, an amazing dad. But I'm not stupid enough to not have a job, because if he left me tomorrow, I don't want to have to rebuild my life. Just saying. I don't want to have to rebuild my life. It's one thing to have confidence in your partner, and I do have a high degree in confidence with my partner and of my partner, but I'm not delusional, and I'm not stupid. Okay, I'm not a fool. I understand that things happen. People change. Life is a constant motion of evolving. People are always evolving. So why would I put my trust in a man? And what these young trad wives don't understand is that you are a choice to that man. And he can make a choice to keep you, or he can make a choice to leave you. And the fact that you are willing to gamble your life in your 40s and your 50s and your 60s on being a choice for a man, girl, God bless you. That's all.
I just realized what it is about traditional wife or trad wife content that bothers me, and probably so many other women, that it's hard to put into words. It's the same reason why I don't make that type of content, even though you could consider me a trad wife. I think it has to do with the fact that, look, you know, if you really want to talk about the experience of being a traditional wife, it doesn't look like this content that we're being shown with the 1950s housewife, like that niche, right? Where they're like cooking all day and they make this beautiful breakfast and they're all glam in their hairs and rollers and they get dressed up for their husband. Because so many of us, and probably the majority of us, that is just not our experience as wives. Being a traditional wife is messy. It is little fingers under the door when we're trying to go to the bathroom. It's mentee bees. It's, you know, the house being a mess when he gets home because they've gotten out every toy in the house because we actually played with them and they played with each other. It is homework, it's being late, it's shuttling kids from activity to activity. It's every time I need to do something for myself, my child didn't get something that they needed.
Never depend on a man. I'm married and I don't depend on my man.
Really?
Yeah, no, because at the end of the day, you never know. Obviously, nobody gets married thinking that you're going to eventually break up. But being independent and having your own money that you worked for gives you a different sense of purpose. Human beings overall, I don't think we are built to depend on anybody. I think we should all be independent and have our own worth.
Where traditional homemaking has been forgotten about and even looked down on. Where women are fighting to be in the same positions as men, indoctrinated to focus more on their careers and less on the home. When God created men and women more than just biologically different, our roles are meant to complement each other, not to compete. Our husbands are to be the breadwinners as we are to be the bread makers. Somewhere along the line, feminine has been replaced with feminism with the sole purpose of keeping women out of the home, which forces those to rely on the government to teach and raise our children. Marriage is falling apart because the God who created it is being left out of it. And an overall disconnect in the home because the one created to nurture it has been empowered to neglect it.
My husband doesn't cook or clean, and he's still an amazing husband. Here's why. He's a provider. He makes sure that all of our bills are paid, that we have all the food that we need, the clothes that we need, and we are always taken care of. Number 2, he cares about my emotional, spiritual, and physical well-being. Not just mine, but our babies too. And number 3, he's fun. He loves to take us on little adventures and he loves to get us little treats and do so many fun things with us.
I think it's been really interesting to see how shocked people are by the term trad wife and how they seem to think it's some new way of living, like it's some unprecedented new trend. Like, have you seen these millennial and Gen Z girls? They just want to be at home with their kids. They want to have husbands and they want to take care of their husbands. They want to cook and they want to clean and they want to wear dresses. It's insane. When in reality, it's literally like the oldest lifestyle in the book. Before this, they were just called stay-at-home moms. And before that, they were just called women. But now our society has gone so far in the feminist direction that anybody who wants to live like a little bit old school and a little bit like how women used to live is fringe, right? Like an extremist. And I just think about how so many of us, since we were little, we were raised in this kind of boss babe feminist society that told us you can be so much more than just a mom. You can be so much more than just a wife. And so many of us listened and we, tried to climb corporate ladders and we boss babed so hard. Now, like, we're a little bit boss babed out. And some of us want to go a little bit more back to our roots, to our ancestors, to the women who came before us and live a little bit more, like they did. Call us crazy, but we like babies. We want to have babies. We want to spend the very few years that we have of them being little with them. We like cooking, we like running a home, we like supporting our husbands and having good marriages. And yes, we also appreciate cute dresses. The audacity. So call them trad wives, call them stay-at-home moms, call them whatever you want. But just know that no matter how much you try and push the career and the boss babe and the feminist lifestyle onto women, there will always be women who naturally want a more traditional lifestyle, just like the billions of women who came before us.
Human nature takes over, and it doesn't matter how much you absolutely feel like you're in love and this is going to work forever. Human nature is a thing, and humans grow, evolve, and change, and that is the only certain thing that we know. I am right now a single mother to 4 kids. I'm 41 years old, and I was married for 10 years, and realized that traditional gender life is miserable and lonely and sad. And I was convinced that if I just found the right words, my husband, the man who watched me birth 4 of his children unmedicated, saw me struggle through the adapting and changing of becoming a mother, I was so positive that if I just found the right words, the right combination, the right moment to say this perfect combination of words, he would finally get it. He would wake up and he would see, oh, I didn't realize that this is what I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. All the previous conversations that we've had, the 10 years you've been explaining these things to me and how they've only gotten worse. I've never really improved any of these things you've been asking me to do. Babe, I'm never again. From today on, I'm your husband. I'm your faithful husband, like I promised you that day. But that's not reality. He does know. He does know. He's an adult. If he is an adult functioning in this world, he's got jobs, he's got other relationships that he's able to maintain. He can go to the grocery store and come home without, dying or getting arrested. He's a fully functioning adult that absolutely understands the pain he's causing, but he also understands that you are beholden to those marriage vows, not him. He knows that you hold to those marriage vows tightly, that you are bound by them, but clearly he's not. So if you're staying in a marriage because it's been any length of time, number one, that's the sunk cost fallacy. You're just staying because there's been a long time, but it's never going to change. And he is never going to wake up because he already is awake and he is manipulating the situation for his benefit, and he will continue to do so as long as you allow it.
So speaking as a former trad wife, I love it when I see comments like this. If you want the best for them, meaning women, other women, encourage them to have a traditional marriage. The further we go from that, the higher the divorce rate. You're setting them up for divorce. Yeah, so I was a trad wife for nearly a decade. My ex-husband worked. He provided a really lavish lifestyle for us. All he had to do was go to work. And when he came home from work, he could just relax and do whatever he pleased. I took care of everything. I cooked, I cleaned, I took care of all of the everything. I even did repairs around the home. Wanted to work out, he worked out. If he wanted to golf, he golfed. I even purchased gifts and took care of stuff for his children from his first marriage. I also had no access to any assets, but that's okay, right? Because women don't need that. Why would women need their own money? Oh, well, women need their own money so they can leave, right? And that's eventually what I did. I left him because traditional marriage, that's the racket. That's actually the scam. I talk about money in relationships for women, so that women can protect themselves, because whether you're in a traditional marriage or not, there's no guarantee that things are going to work out. And whether he is a provider or not, there's no guarantee things are going to work out. Women need to protect themselves because divorce harms women far more than men. So yeah, traditional marriage, the trad wife life sure looks good on paper. Not so much.
What is your take on being a housewife in today's day and age?
I would love to be a housewife personally, but I think it's just not possible in today's day and age.
Why?
I think especially if both people are making money, which is usually what happens unless the guy is super rich. I don't think you can really take on the role of being a housewife and have a full-time job. It has to be one or the other, or you have to split responsibilities.
What if he had enough money where you didn't have to work at all? Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, of course.
For the rest of your life?
That's the dream, yeah.
Here's my 2 cents that nobody asked for. Regarding the trad wife movement. First of all, there are plenty of wives who live traditional lifestyles that are not white, y'all. I'm one of them. I follow a lot of them. I know a lot of them. Okay? It is not just white women who are traditional wives, so who are stay-at-home wives, who are stay-at-home mothers, who are homemakers. Okay, this is not a white thing. Just because you're seeing most of that on TikTok or wherever you're watching does not mean that this is solely for them. There have been generations of women of color whose families have had a homemaker or stay-at-home mom of some sort in their lives. Second, this whole thing about how we need to be hiding money from our husbands and stashing things away and how it's dangerous and all of that. If you are in a relationship with a man who does not allow you to have access to the finances, you should not be a homemaker to that man at all anyway, point blank and period. I don't understand why this is not common knowledge. Even if you get married young, the finances should be mutual, okay? I don't have to hide money from my husband. I control our finances. I pay all the bills. The money goes into my account. Everything goes through me. He doesn't even know how to pay the bills. And not to say that he's stupid, because he's brilliant, but what I'm saying is he doesn't know the water company. He doesn't know the electric company. He doesn't know all of these things. So, and I mean, I have it all written down so he could get to it, obviously, because we're married and I need him to be able to have access to this stuff. But the point is that it is a mutual decision. If your husband is gatekeeping all of this stuff, that man does not deserve a stay-at-home wife or homemaker. You should not be a homemaker to that type of man. Now, I will also say, our girls need to learn how to be wives and mothers and how to take care of a home. This is something we are not taught. And as now a homemaker, I have to learn all this stuff because we're just not taught it. We're taught to be strong and independent women. And that's fantastic if that's what you want. But we're not taught that it's an option to be a stay-at-home mom. And it is. If you live within your means, if you build your life off one income, it's absolutely possible to be a stay-at-home mom and live a comfortable life. I don't think that we should be teaching them to not have skills or anything like that. I have a college degree. I have plenty of skills. And you know what I do with my free time that I do have being a homemaker? I learn new skills. Okay? I know how to sew. That's what my degree is in. But I also am learning to garden. I have learned how to cook and bake and all these other things that I've learned how to do in the meantime to elevate my skills and to learn new skills. So don't just sit there and keep yourself destitute. Like, learn something, do something, have skills under your belt. Like, all that is great, and all of that I want for my daughter as well. But if she wants to be a homemaker, I want her to know that that is absolutely possible. It is absolutely worthwhile to go after that, and the type of man to look for. Because if you're just putting yourself in the position to be taken advantage of, if you don't know anything about your finances, then you're just putting yourself in a bad position. That's just not wise. So you need to use wisdom. Stop thinking this is just a white thing, y'all. There are plenty of women of color who are homemakers and stay-at-home moms and stay-at-home wives and women of leisure and all the other things. But we're also not stupid, okay? And we don't need to hide things from our husband and stash money away, okay? We don't need to keep secrets in our marriages. If you're with a wise man, a godly man, which is even better, then you build your life together. Everything is in both names. Or, I mean, we're married, so everything doesn't have to be in both names, but most of our stuff is in both names or in just my name. And all the finances are run through both of us, but I mean, he makes it and I do all the things and send him what he can spend. So just be wise and stop thinking that this is horrible, and stop telling women that they shouldn't be able to live a life with their families and that they have to grind and grind and grind, because we all don't want that, and that's okay. And I've done that and it was fine, but I'm not going back.
What is the difference between a woman that wants to be a wife versus a woman that just wants a husband?
Oh, you know what? I think most of us are bred to just want a husband, whereas to be groomed and trained to be a wife means to understand how to respect masculine energy, how to truly be inside of your feminine, which means trusting the leadership of your partner, because feminine chooses certainty. Feminine doesn't choose flow, because feminine is flow, right? Feminine energy. When we choose to understand that it is our biggest opportunity to seek out the needs of a man without him expressing them, I think a beautiful opportunity for us to empower that man and ride through the storms. I feel like we live in a weak generation where things get hard and people immediately are like, oh, I quit. This is too hard. And that's like, it's never going to hinder you the result you want if you keep quitting. To be groomed as a wife means it's compassion, it's longevity. That's where marriage starts. When you get married, you say, I do, it starts. Whereas other people, it's like, when you get married, I made it. No, you didn't make it. You hate that man. You hate that woman. Y'all can't stand each other. You don't care enough to not disrespect each other or call each other out of your own name. You don't care enough to not want to sleep on opposite sides of the bed when there's a problem. You don't care enough to have the hard conversation so that you can move together more powerfully. That's just to have a husband. But when you want to be a wife, things are different, in my opinion.
Traditional wives, I talk to young girls, they're like, you still believe in women. And I'm like, no, it's not that. I 100,000% believe in women with every step and every breath I take. But I don't think until you've been helpless, responsible for another life, you understand what it's like to be trapped. And so you can't. People need to find their own journey. If we lived in a perfect society where man goes to work, women take care of the house, it sounds like a utopia, right? And sometimes it works for you and then all of a sudden it doesn't. And then where does it leave women who have dedicated their time to raising families to then, like, what happened to your career? What happened to your financial independence? You're so vulnerable. You're completely dependent. And then your choice is to stay in a potentially abusive relationship. So many women do. And so many do. I made that money that we lived in. I just wasn't looking after it because I was busy having babies. And so I opened myself up to that kind of abuse. But traditional wives, I talk to young girls, they're like, you still believe in women.
We're trad wives. We believe in gender roles in our marriage. We're trad wives. We believe a clean home is a happy home. We're trad wives. Always obey our husbands. We're trad wives. We choose to stay home and support our husbands. Trad wives. We always have dinner ready when our husbands get off work. Trad wives. We always satisfy our husband's needs. Trad wives. We wouldn't be caught dead in a bar or club without our husband. Trad wives. We always respect and appreciate our husbands for their hard work.
Here's the most important thing that you need to know about men. The one thing they care about the most in this world is their money. It is their first love and their lasting love. And for many men, not all men, but for many men, it is their one and only true love. So know that. When you date men, know that when you get into relationships with men, and know that when you marry men. Pay attention to where they spend or invest their money, because this indicates what they value most, whether it is a thing or a person. And if they aren't spending their money on that thing or person, it says a lot too. Men part with their money when they want to, because it benefits them. And if it still benefits them to not part with their money, that's an even bigger bonus. If you understand this, you understand who that man really is.
It's really sad that being a traditional wife gets a lot of hate online, because honestly, it's the most fulfilling job that I've ever had in my entire life. When my husband and I first started dating, he was going to nursing school and I was making $60,000 a year as a 21-year-old in 2017. I literally cried every single day that I would go to work, and I do not miss having a job whatsoever. I'm a firm believer that women do not thrive in a structured workplace. This doesn't mean that you have to be a housewife. This could mean that you have your own little side business or a big side business. Science says that men and women's brains are very different. While we are both providers, we are providers in different ways. So why would we work the same exact jobs that men do? Although I was a hairdresser in my past, I am 10 times more creative now than I ever was when I worked a real job. I get to come up with new meals and try new things for my husband and I to eat for dinner. I sew my own clothes, and I have so much time to be able to do that. I get to make creative videos for you guys to watch, and my favorite part is I get to play with herbs and make cleaning products and medicines for my husband and I. There's absolutely no way that I would have had the time working a 9-to-5 job making gnocchi from scratch. All I made was crock-pot meals. There's absolutely nothing wrong with crock-pot meals if you are not a picky eater like I am. I only made salsa chicken, pot roast, and chicken and dumplings every single week. We do not have kids, and we're not planning on having them. However, if we did have them, they would be homeschooled, and I would not be able to homeschool them if I wasn't a stay-at-home wife. I think a lot of the hate comes from jealousy, and if this is exactly what you want to do, then I highly suggest it, because there is no other job that you would feel fulfilled like this one. If you want to see more trad wife content, let me know in the comments and click that follow button, because even if you didn't want to, I'm still going to be posting it, because this is exactly who I am.
It should come as literally no surprise to anybody on this planet that women are not wanting to have children anymore, considering the fact that the main
main reason for divorces nowadays is lack of commitment. And women are usually the ones who initiate divorces, right? Men will sit there and try to say that, oh, women are always the one who leave relationships. You guys are the one divorcing us. You gotta be so for real right now. How many times did your wife tell you, I need you to do this, I need you to do that, stop doing this, stop cheating on me, take care of our kids, help me with the groceries, help me with cleaning the house. And then you expect her to not only take care of the house, take care of the kids, take care of you, but then go and work 9 to 5 and go 50-50 with you? Are you out of your freaking mind? No kidding, women don't want to have children anymore. No kidding, women are divorcing men, because why would I want to deal with the stress of you doing F shit behind my back? Me taking care of these kids that I birthed, literally ruined my body for you, that you don't even take care of. Why would I want to do that when I can just go be alone, stress-free? No kidding. No kidding. But men will always sit here and try to blame the demise of society on us when they're literally the ones that built society.
Okay, listen, I'm your typical trad wife, okay? I post trad wife content. I have over 140 whatever thousand followers on Instagram. Not that I'm bragging, just trying to explain. Because I post trad wife content, okay? I understand the whole trad wife movement. I'm a part of it. Love it, okay? One thing I do not understand is these videos being like, my toddler requested Cocoa Puffs and jam scones and toast for breakfast. So now I'm going to make everything from scratch and cook it all, and it's probably going to take 6 hours. My toddler just asked for breakfast, and it's going to take me probably 3 to 6 hours to cook this toddler breakfast. And that's... what? Like, I'm sorry, but if I asked for toast for breakfast and my mom started making some bread, I would be pissed. I want toast now. Give me my Cocoa Puffs now. I don't want to wait 3 hours for breakfast. That's not how it works. Look, I understand that some of these are a joke. I get it. I get some of them are a joke. But some of them I feel like are being serious. Or maybe they're just doing it for views. I don't know. But I'm just saying, if I asked for toast and my mum started making bread, I would be so pissed off.
Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to leave me a comment. Let me know if you have experience being a stay-at-home mom, a traditional wife, or are you working outside the home. Let's talk about it, and don't forget to share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all in my next video.